This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or exclusive Patreon only gameplays, then feel free to check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. Okay, first ever time playing with patrons, Etali Primal Storm versus Hazezon Tamar, Feather the Redeemed, and Jhoira of the Ghitu. And that is a one lander, so certainly can't keep that. Could have hoped for a land off the top and then it actually would have been pretty good. That is pretty much our mana concerns dealt with. We just need to hope for card draw, which we might be able to get off of Etali, so let's keep that. Okay, game's underway. I think everyone's kept a full grip of 7, so that's good. We've got Valdriag. Apologies if I mispronounce anyone's name. You can correct me in the Discord or in the comments. Valdriag is on Hazezon, Atlas Dragoon on Feather, and then we've got Outlaw from Jhoira. And we draw into a land. I don't particularly care about getting out Manifold Key just yet. I don't think it'd eat spot removal, but just to play it safe. Everyone just rolling out tap lands at the start of the game. Couple of shocks come out. Temple came out on turn 1 here, and then there is a hideaway card that cares about the total power being 10 or greater. Shouldn't be too difficult with Hazezon. If he throws out 8 tokens, then that'll sort that out for them. Another land for us. Let's go for the Strionic Resonator. This is going to double up on our Etali triggers, so when we swing in, hopefully we'll be able to swing in with haste. Might even wait until we've got 2 mana held up for our Etali's Strionic Resonator. Then we can swing in straight away and gain double the triggers. Okay, Chrome Mox coming in for Jhoira. And Outlaw has put Clever Impersonator under that. Makes you wonder what's in his hand. And that is double upkeeps. Nothing to take advantage of double upkeeps with so far. Let me just read this. And it's at the beginning of your upkeep that a time counter is removed. So they're going to have twice as many time counters removed thanks to this, which means they get to cheat their stuff in much faster. They're already down to 4 cards though. Then it is the Arcane Signet coming in for Atlas. Valdriag going in for Deep Reconnaissance. I don't know that one. Search for a basic, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle, and it has flashback. Okay. Obviously Hazezon is going to want a lot of land ramp. And another land for us. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we just go in for the Coalition Relic. Everyone's off to a fairly slow start, so it doesn't really matter. Put the charge counter on there, because I will absolutely forget to do that. And then it is a Trinket Mage. That typically goes in for Soul Ring, but we'll have a look at the reveal zone and see what our opponent aims for. Nope, they have gone in for Mana Vault. So playing the Mana Vault down to 3 cards in hand now. They may well be able to just cast whatever it is that they would be looking to throw away with the Jhoira. That way they don't have to wait for the suspend, but, well, they've only got 3 cards in hand anyway, so we'll find out next turn. And down comes the first commander of the game for Atlas. That is Feather the Redeemed. And they've got a mana held up, so I'm guessing they're going to have protection for Feather. That's a point, actually. If we draw into protection from Feather, how long do we have to cast it? Exile the top card, then you may cast it. Alright, so it has to be immediate. That's how I read that. So you can't save it for the rest of the game. And we may see the second commander of the game. Nope, just going for the Deep Reconnaissance. That is the flashback ability, so another basic coming in tapped. And now Coalition Relic untaps, and we will get a red mana. From the counter being removed, we can go straight in for Thran Dynamo into the Darksteel Plate, maybe. Then when we untap, we can go Snow-Covered Mountain as well. That'll be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which means we can equip our Etali with Indestructible. There's some white at the table, so he might get exiled. Okay, let's go Manifold Key. We're dumping out our hand here, so I'm hoping there's no mass artifact destruction. We'll use that to untap the Thran Dynamo, so we just go up a mana here, basically. I don't think it actually matters now that I think about it. No, it doesn't make any difference at all. We actually could have gotten out Etali this turn, but I'd rather play it next turn with the Indestructible. If we draw into some kind of haste, then we'll play that first. And whilst our opponents are playing out their turns, we'll just count up how much mana I think we're going to have. Okay, so that will be, we'll have 5 lands, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from this if we want to tap it twice. But we could untap this, so that would make this 3. That's kind of like 5 mana if we decide to use the Manifold Key on it. So 5, 10, 11, 12 potentially. Which is plenty. It's the haste that we're missing currently. But I think I will run out of Etali and try and dump the Darksteel Plate on there. We haven't seen much removal yet, so I don't know if it's a wise idea or not. Now it is Phyrexian Metamorph. That could be Darksteel Plate, could be Thran Dynamo. Yeah, it's a Thran Dynamo they go after. And down comes Jhoira of the Ghitu. Let's see if they suspend anything. I think they have to do it face up. And there is protection for Feather. If they're willing to do that at the end of Outlaw's turn, then that's worth noting because one of us could point removal at that at the end of the turn here after they've already cast it, assuming that they are tapped out at that point. So they went for the Defiant Strike there, and we could have aimed Swords to Plowshares or something like that at Feather. Obviously, when I say we, I mean the collective we. We don't have many Swords to Plowshares in a mono-red deck. But Feather, as usual, keeping hold of a full grip. Now going for Vanguard of Brimaz. Yeah, that will get them some tokens that they can block with. And Feather does trigger on any creature being targeted. I haven't played Feather in multiplayer, so those little intricacies I do forget about sometimes. Then deciding not to swing in with Feather. Okay, an Ondu Giant coming from Hazezon. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic and put it in tapped. Yeah, I'm sure they have plenty of creatures that can get them lands. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone there, getting blockers into play. And also getting more tokens out with Hazezon when Valdrag eventually decides to go for that. Now then, let's see if we can get into something other than a land. Oh, I was just going to say some haste would be good. Can we afford Swiftfoot Boots on our commander? Certainly make red with that. Drop a mountain. Go for... doesn't matter who we swing in at, does it? Let's go like that. Untap the Thran Dynamo again. Then we've got 3 mana, which can go on Swiftfoot Boots. Then 3 and 6, leaving 2 mana for the Darksteel Plate. Yeah, I think we just have to... well, we'll go for the Swiftfoot Boots. Doesn't really matter which order we cast it in. If people can respond at instant speed, then they can respond to the equip anyway. But we'll get out the Swiftfoot Boots. And Etali may get countered yet. So we'll see what happens. We have to go for it. We want the counter magic out of our opponent's hand. I'm assuming that Jhoira has suspend targets in hand and hoping that there's no counter magic, but they have stopped on their turn. And going for suspend, that is Pathrazor Ulamog. So not holding up counter magic clearly. And that might actually point us in their direction. I don't think they should have shown us that before we swing in with Etali. Try and land the Swiftfoot Boots. And I think instead of the Darksteel Plate, does our opponent have something? No, it's a Defiant Strike. They're trying to draw into something. Defiant Strike is +1/+0 and draw a card. And that targets the Brimaz, or Vanguard of Brimaz. So they will get a cat token. Fingers crossed they don't get a Swords. Oh, and excellent. I didn't think that we would land Etali this early, so let's... Yeah, I'm going to forego the Darksteel Plate, and I'm actually going to get double triggers on the Strionic Resonator. I'm also going to go in at Jhoira because I've seen that Eldrazi now. Etali triggers. And let's have a look at everyone's exile zone. There is a land, and I think we got a land as well, so that's pretty unlucky. Eerie Interlude. Oh, I don't think we're going to get time for the Strionic Resonator now, are we? I didn't hold priority there. Okay, this is my first time playing this deck, so clearly I don't know what I'm doing with it as much as I perhaps could. So missing out on the Strionic Resonator, that doesn't matter. We can go for... we can go for Darksteel Plate. We land 6 commander damage on Jhoira. Let's go for that Darksteel Plate. Yeah, my intention was to double up those triggers and look at more cards, but we're actually going to just put the Indestructible on there, thanks to my mistake. Have to be careful of that next turn. Make sure to hold priority on Etali's trigger. Okay, now this is 4 time counters. So it's going to only have 2 time counters on it and end up coming in at the beginning of Jhoira's next turn, thanks to the fact that our opponent has double upkeeps. I don't think she gives haste. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove... When it's removed, cast it. If it's a creature, it has haste, so it's the suspend itself as an ability that gives haste. So Pathraiser will come down with that Annihilator 3 and haste. So I think we're going to keep going in at Jhoira. Now Jhoira coming in at us, and we might have quite a few players coming in at us because we're interfering with their stuff, and we have gotten off to a fast start. We do have very few cards in hand though. And whilst the two of us battle against each other, Feather is gaining card advantage and not having their resources exhausted, which might be a reason to go in at them. Defiant Strike going in on the Vanguard of Brimaz again. I do believe that Feather has different cantrip effects, but they're just showing us the same one over and over again, which is very wise. And now for Feather comes down an Inventor's Fair. They are 2 rocks away from, or 2 artifacts away from Metalcraft currently, and that is Myth Realised. Whenever you cast a non-creature, you can put a lore counter on it, pay 3 to put a lore counter on it, and white to have it become a creature with its power and toughness equal to the number of lore counters on it. Now a Swiftfoot Boots coming down as well, putting them only 1 artifact away from Metalcraft. They'll be able to search for an artifact if they get their Metalcraft on the go. And then equipping the Feather. That should make her much more difficult to deal with. And now Feather is going in at the Jhoira player and sending these 2 cats in at us. Yeah, I think we've all got our eyes on this thing. We've got the Vanguard of Brimaz coming in at us as well, so 4 damage coming in our way. And before I forget, let me put a charge counter on this Coalition Relic. I always forget about this thing. Oh, a Zendikar Resurgent from the Naya player. And is that going to be counted? Okay, a Swan Song. Yeah, I think that's absolutely worth a Swan Song. Because whenever I'm playing green, I definitely want to keep hold of my mana doublers, and that's actually card draw for them as well. That puts Jhoira down to 0 cards in hand though. They could only counter an enchantment, instant or sorcery with that. So they couldn't have countered anything we did. This thing doesn't have reach or anything, does it? No, that's just a 2-4. They're going to leave it back. Alright, we make it back round to our turn. And we just drew into Chandra's Ignition, which I actually quite like. Can we play lands off of Etali? No, you cast them, so we don't need to worry about playing the Arid Mesa this turn. Chandra's Ignition deals damage equal to the power to each other. I mean, we don't need to worry about burning this thing because we're not going to have enough power to do that. Let's try and go for Chandra's Ignition. This will be 6 damage to everything, and it will encourage our opponent over here to show us protection for Feather. Okay, Feather is going for something. It's just that Defiant Strike again. They will still get that back at the end of their turn. And Myth Realised gets more counters on it. Brimaz throws out more tokens, which are about to be burned alive. But it looks like there's no protection for Feather. So there we go, managing to wipe the board there. Let's go for the Arid Mesa. And now I'm going to try and go after... Yeah, I think it's that Eldrazi I'm worried about. Let's go after the Eldrazi. And this time, I'm definitely going to copy that. And there we go, managing to hold priority this time. Let's have a look and see what we get. Oh, Expropriate. That is from Jhoira. I mean, does it get better than that? Let's see how many extra turns we can get. Lands from everyone else, seemingly. Canopy Vista, Rugged Prairie, and a mountain from ourselves. Yeah, it's time we want. And then everyone else should vote for money. You always vote for money with Expropriate, in my opinion. Doesn't feel good getting your stuff stolen, but that is what you should go for. Yeah, Valdreg doing it the right way, in my opinion. Whoa, did we just get 3 extra turns in a row? Oh no, they voted for money. Okay, so we're just choosing their stuff. We can't... Yeah, we definitely go for Kessig Wolf from there, just because we don't want to deal with it from our opponent. So literally just using that to take control of that away from them. We'll take the Swiftfoot Boots, just so ours doesn't get... Well, if ours does get blown up, we can still use it. And then there, we go Paradox Haze, so that we don't have to worry about the Eldrazi for as long. Alright, yeah, so everyone doing the right thing there. It confused me when I had to choose Valdreg's permanent first. I thought we'd start here and then work our way over around here. Exile cards. Wow, we've got more. We've got Jingataxius. There's some big stuff on the top of Jhoira's library. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life for each other creature you control. I could have stacked that better then. Oh, and a Ruby Medallion. Yeah, that's ours, I think. Yeah, so I should have put the Angel on the stack first, but I don't think the life gain is going to matter too much. Okay, and then we get a turn after this one. And we're going to have a full grip thanks to Jingataxius. So this is working out exactly how Etali wants it to work out. Oh, and I've gone through to the end step by accident. Oh well. Hopefully that won't matter. I was going to put the boots onto Jingataxius. Okay, and we draw into some really good stuff there. And oh, I also forgot to tap down the Coalition Relic. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to have to play with extra turns with Etali. Told you I forget about that Coalition Relic. Okay, now Volcanic Vision. Return a target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand and it deals damage. Yeah, we could actually make use of Chandra's Vision with that, but first of all, let's just go for the tap and untap trick with the Thran Dynamo. Then we'll throw down Hammer of Nazan. The hammer can go onto the Jingataxius. Then the Swiftfoot Boots can go onto Jingataxius as well. Should have done that last turn. Then we go Loxodon Warhammer as well. And this can go on Etali. And I'm actually going to go after Feather here, because I don't want to lose the Jingataxius. We're going to be able to discard Anger here as well, so we'll leave that in our hand. Let's throw that down. We can go for... Well, let's just swing in first. I'm thinking Arcane Signet into Urabrask at the moment. Go in at Atlas Dragoon there. And Jingataxius can go in at Jhoira. Yeah, we'll put Jhoira down to 1. Then they have to be careful with that Mana Vault. Oh, and of course we get the double triggers again. Jeez. Yeah, glad I didn't go for tapping out with these 2 things now. So now Etali might get even more shenanigans going. Well, there's a Steel Shaper's Gift. We get an Ajani Unyielding. Oh, and a Dragon Mage. Oh, that's from our home library. So let's cast the Dragon Mage. Cast the Ajani and cast the Steel Shaper's Gift. Okay, so we go for the Steel Shaper's Gift. That obviously gets us some kind of equipment. Oh, I forgot I put the Sword of Feast and Famine in here. That's really good. Helm of the Host is even better. Yeah, I think we're just going overkill with Helm of the Host at this point. And this is the really good thing about playing with the patrons is if we are just really lucky and go off very quickly like this, then I know that they're going to stick it out very kindly. Not to say that we've won this, but it does feel as though we have at the moment. Mesmeric Orb I don't particularly care about. We can leave that in exile. Might as well get down the Firebrand Archer. Secure the Wastes will be cast for 0, I think. And Vandal Blast can blow up. We'll just go after the Thran Dynamo with that. And then we'll say no to the other two. Oh, and again, stack those the wrong way around. Could have gone for the Firebrand Archer first. Okay, and now we have to get ourselves round to attacking, or dealing the damage from our attacks. Oh, and I'm somehow, I must be pressing the wrong button or something. I think I'm accidentally passing through the turn. Oh well, I mean, I was going to obviously plus up on a Ajani there. Right, we don't have an unlimited hand size, so we'll just go through to the end step. Definitely want to get rid of that. And then we'll get rid of, I don't know, don't really know what we want to get rid of at this point. Don't need the Mind Stone or the Signet really. Yeah, apologies for that, passed through the turn when I was thinking I was removing auto yields. So unless the hotkeys have swapped around somehow, I think that must have been my mistake. Thrill of Possibility, yeah, we'll just get rid of Thrill of Possibility there. I don't think we need the card draw with the Jingataxius in play. Oh, but it's Enchant Player. Okay, so yeah, that doesn't work the way I thought it would. Yet another mistake from me. The Paradox Haze is actually enchanting the Jhoira player, so us taking it away from them doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So we are going to see an Eldrazi come down here. And it might be worth, actually, a Volcanic Vision. Volcanic Vision onto Chandra's Ignition, assuming that there's no counters. Yeah, we've actually got enough power on our Etali now to wipe out the Pathraiser Ulamog. So of course we're going to have to exile some stuff or sacrifice some stuff when the Ulamog swings in at us, which I assume it's going to. But they might just leave it back as a blocker because we've got some big stuff in play. They have been knocked down to 4 life. And then recasting Jhoira again, they might as well. They are in top deck mode, unfortunately. But we do have the Dragon Mage. We need to decide if we want to wheel with that or not. I think giving Jhoira a bunch of cards is a pretty bad idea. And what does this thing deal the damage to again? Deals damage equal to that card's CMC to each creature your opponents control. Alright, so that's a little board wipe in itself. That'll be 5 damage to everything if we go for Chandra's Ignition. If we swing in at them, we'll kind of force them to block with the Ulamog, assuming that this doesn't swing in now. But they are swinging in, and they are swinging in at Ajani. I haven't actually looked at the abilities on this. Reveal the top 3. Put all non-land permanents into your hand. Well, that should be pretty much everything in this deck. And then you can exile a creature as well. So we could also, go for Ulamog with that as well. Okay, so Annihilator 3. We'll just get rid of the Angel. We can block with the Firebrand Archer. Let's sacrifice the Paradox Haze. And we'll just sacrifice a land as well. And like I said, we block with the Firebrand Archer. Oh, is it? Can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. Alright, well, that's our Ajani going down then. I missed that line of text. Yeah, you need 3 or more creatures to block with that thing. So I think we're definitely going to want to burn this thing. And now Defiant Strike. Going on to that thing. So that's literally just for the card draw from Feather. Feather is not in play, and it's not targeting one of their own creatures, so Defiant Strike is gone for the rest of the game, I assume. Let me put a charge counter onto the relic before I forget yet again. Now Feather going for another heroic creature that is more token producers. These ones will have haste. Oh, and then that's a pet card of mine. Balefire Liege will be able to throw around lightning helixes. But it will also buff Feather, which, over the course of a game, if you can keep Feather around long enough, you can get commander damage off with her. That'll be +2/+2 to Feather with that thing. Then discarding... Oh yeah, they have to discard at the end of the turn thanks to Jingataxius, so we can see what was in their hand. A Crowan Conscriptor. Teferi's Protection is excellent to get rid of. A Grievian Find. A Comeuppance. And a Plains. Now, can Hazezon do something here? We've got 2 indestructible creatures. It's going to be a real, well, hexproof and indestructible. That's going to be really, really difficult for them. It's mass exile they want, really. And I know, personally, I don't run mass exile unless it's merciless eviction. Cathar's Crusade, that will be really good if they manage to stick around long enough to get their Hazezon down. I think Hazezon doesn't come in with the tokens immediately. At the beginning of your next upkeep, yeah, pretty slow, so we're going to have to work around the fact that they're going to get a huge mass of big tokens. That'll be 5, 6, 7, 8 tokens they'll get currently. And they'll each get a +1/+1 counter per other creature that comes in, so that'll be 7 counters each. Yeah, Hazezon will come flying out of the gates here if we're not careful. Might have to take them out, actually. Okay, and we make it back round to our turn again. I'll try not to pass through the turn again for the second time this game. I thought they were swinging in at a Ajani. Apparently not. With the Ulamog. Okay, well, let's go for, as overkill as it is, let's go for Helm of the Host. That is 1 damage to each opponent off of the Firebrand Archer that we could not block with. That comes down, and it goes on to Etali, and then we'll play the Nykthos. That's going to be a lot of red mana for us. Then I think we can win this turn because of Seize the Day, so let's just... well, we'll swing in anyway. Helm of the Host triggers. I'm going to double up on the triggers there because it'll get us more mana with Nykthos. So Strionic Resonator doing some work here. We're going to get a bunch of stuff off of our opponents. Then we go through to attacks. I want to go after Valdreg with that one. That one can go in at Outlaw, and that should see them out of the game. Oh, actually, we don't have Trample, do we? So yeah, going wide like that should see them out, and then we'll just aim ourselves at the Naya player, I think, because... yeah, because I want to see them out of the game thanks to the Cathar's Crusade. Then we get a bunch of Etali triggers, because we've got 3 Etali swinging in. We get rid of a bunch of lands and our own Sunbird's Invocation, which will ping all of our opponents, thanks to the Archer over here. And then I think Sunbird's Invocation triggers off whatever we can cast with Etali. We just get rid of a bunch of lands again. Yes, we do. So we've got another go at it with Etali, and this time we hit a bunch of stuff. Expedite is card draw. There's Parallel Lives. That would have been good with the Helm of the Host. Our Fervor. Yeah, I don't think it matters which order we cast things in. We'll ping our opponent with everything here. And then Expedite can just... that's haste, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll just put that on anything. And that takes down Jhoira, thanks to the pings from the Archer. They take their Jingataxius with them. And then there's Parallel Lives. We're going to get a bunch of Etali tokens with that. Drop down the Fervor. And then we've got damage to deal as well. This Etali is going in at the Naya player. And then they were going in at Jhoira. Yeah, so could have planned out the attacks much better there, but my first time playing this deck. I'm sure you can all appreciate this is a lot to think about. The Hammer of Nazan has fallen off the Jingataxius as well, as has the Swiftfoot Boots. Let's just go for Nykthos mana. That gives us 11. We go Seize the Day. And is it target creatures? Oh, untap a target creature. Okay. So I might have to go for something other than Seize the Day in the deck, because I want to be able to swing in with multiple Etalis, if this is going to be a regular occurrence. Sunbird's Invocation and the Archer trigger. Let's see what we get off of Sunbirds. We get a Sol Ring and a Direfleet Daredevil. Can we cast both of them? Cast a spell. Let's just go for the Sol Ring. I don't want to drag the game out too long. This has already become a game of solitaire. Then we go Hammer of Nazan onto... We'll just put it on this Etali. Put the Swiftfoot Boots on that Etali as well. Minus down, exile that thing. Just so it's one less blocker. And then how about we get down Urabrask as well, just so we can pile in as much damage as possible. I want to try and win this turn if we can. World at War goes into... We cast it, don't we? Yeah, so let's just go for World at War as well. That's an extra combat. I don't know if it stacks with other extra combats. We'll soon find out. And a big shout out to my opponents for playing this out. This has been really obnoxious. We'll untap that Thran Dynamo with the floating mana and then swing in. We untap all the creatures with that, don't we? So we're going to have our dreams come true with swinging in with multiple Etalis. Helm of the Host is going to get a couple of tokens in, World at War triggers, and untaps all of our stuff. So then it is 8 and 14 there. That takes out the Naya player, and then everything else goes in at Feather. And we get, how many? 5 Etali triggers. Get a bunch of lands. We haven't had the best of luck on that front. Combat Celebrant will certainly cast along with the Sword of Feast and Famine. Continuing to ping my opponent with the Firemane Archer. That's actually done a lot of damage for us this game. Hammer of Nazan can go on to one of the Etalis. That isn't going to be blocked. I think we swung that one in at our opponent. It's not telling us for some reason, but we want to hit our opponent with the Sword of Feast and Famine because it will untap all our lands. Combat Celebrant comes down and is not attacking, so that's not relevant yet. And it's not going to be this game, I don't think. Wow, even more stuff, okay. I'm losing my breath here. Oblivion Stone. Bellowing Tangleworm might as well play. Crimson Wisps, just target that thing. That's another haste enabler for Feather, which is more pings and more card draw. Get into a Balefire Dragon now. Oblivion Stone, just in case we need to wipe the board. Rampant Growth I'm not going to bother with. Crucible of Worlds is quick enough to cast. I'm just trying to end the game as quickly as I can at this point. And the final Etali trigger completely whiffs. So you do whiff quite often with Etali, I'm noticing, and we need to be able to accrue as much value as we can with that. So concentrating on getting as many tokens out as possible might be a good idea. The Acrowan is just going to block the Firemane Archer, because those two can trade each other. And I don't know if Seize the Day is going to give us another attack after this, because World at War is already... Yeah, I don't know how that works with double stacking extra combats. Alright, but we managed to take care of everyone anyway. I think Feather just allowed us through there. I don't think we had enough on them, but that's fair enough. Alright, so a huge shout out to my opponents for that. This is one of the many benefits of having patrons on the channel. I'm sure we never would have gotten anywhere close to seeing any of that occur if we weren't up against friends of the channel. People would have scooped long before then, and rightly so. But our opponents very graciously played it out. They were very patient with that. We just had some really good draws there, to be honest. We had a lot of ramp in the opening hand, of which there is a lot in the deck, to be fair. And then we got into the Swiftfoot Boots, which made a huge difference. I did whiff on the Strionic Resonator at first, but I think the safest play was to go for Darksteel Plate anyway, because someone could have gone for a board wipe to get past the Hexproof, to get rid of Etali, and that would have slowed us down. So I think in hindsight we actually did the right thing there by accident. Hopefully you all enjoyed this one. Huge shout out to my patrons yet again. Huge thank you to them for that. It makes a massive difference on the outcome of the videos. I'm going to go play another one with them now, and hopefully it's much less one-sided and less lucky for me. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.